Hello, this is Victor, and in this tutorial I'm going to explain. So I'm preparing this geoman to be painted, and the first thing I prepare is before doing the priming, I will do the base. I will texturize the base. So in that short tutorial I want to share with you very easy and straightforward bases that are the basic one if you do wargaming. I'm going to go through two examples. So this is a cavalry base where the slots are completely covered by the miniature, so there are not gaps. This is another one that due to the miniature construction there are some gaps. So the first thing that I will do is I will cover these gaps before doing any further work. So in the market we can find different materials to cover the gaps. One material that you can use, for example, green stuff, but one material that I use from time to time is Play-Doh. We have to be careful with the Play-Doh because it have huge shrinkage when it's completely dry. So what I will do, first I will apply a little bit of PVA glue in the parts where I want to apply the Play-Doh. Is here to cover the hole, and I will not be super careful to make a regular distribution. So I just want to cover the gaps, but to be fair, normally the ground is not flat, so for me it's okay to have some irregularities, as you can see here. We have to be careful not to cover the horse feet. So I will use this tool to be precise here and to avoid that I'm covering the horse feet. If you can use that, if you want to use that to simulate, for example, fresh mat, you can use it like if the feet is being sink in the mat. But in that case I want to leave it free. So I will do that. You will see that the base is completely covered. So I can take a little bit more. And again, you can do this with that, or you can use clay. There's some type of clays that they dry completely with very little wrinkle. I found this good enough for me. It's working, and after texturizing and all these things, it's doing okay. If you do big surfaces, you have to be careful because it will ring, and I had some issues in the past with huge shrinkage and then it's cracking, but you can correct later on. If you see that there is a crack, you paint again the crack with the base color. So here, for example, in that one, what you can do, I can do like small irregularities on the terrain if you want. So for example, I can do one here and another one here. What I will make is, you take a small ball of this, I will use this tool and I will make it down. And what is the advantage here is I can do this to stick there. You can punch in some if you want to do like bamboo, or you want to do other stuff that goes glued vertical on the base, you can use that, or even to put rocks or something like that. It will help you to integrate and to make this to look more integrated to the base. So as you can see, I apply a little bit. I will not, so we have to be careful that this doesn't happen, but this happened because the glue went into the tool, but this should be okay. Okay, so I will keep doing the same for all the bases, and I will connect you back once I did the same of the bases. But basically I take a little bit of this plasticine or Play-Doh, I put some PVA glue and I glue it on top. So I will be back and I will show you once all the bases have the Play-Doh applied. So now I apply the plasticine in all the bases. You see use the plasticine also to create some texture, even in the cases that I don't need texture or I don't need to apply. I apply different ways the plasticine, so here it's more flat. Here I make the moldum, some spots that you have seen before. Even in that case, I make this irregularity in one side of the base. So now the next step I will do is and here you have to be careful and you have to be gentle now. I will use, you can wait until this is dry more, so you can wait 24 hours, but now I will apply again PVA glue. You can do it also directly, and I will do the first part of the sanding. So you apply, as you can see, PVA glue, and then I will take an old brush. I will use an old brush, and I will spread the PVA on the base. Okay, as you can see, I spread all over the base. Okay, as you see, like that. You have to be gentle where you have the Play-Doh, because you don't want to damage the work that you did before. And now here in that bag I have sand, beach sand. So I don't know if you can see, I have beach sand here. So what I will do is I take the horse like that and I put it inside of the bag. I put it inside of the sand in that way. So when you take it out, sorry, it will, and then you take all the excess out and it will leave like that. So I'm shading with my own hand. So you do this, and now the base is completely sand. So I will do the same for all the horses. It's the same process. So you apply. Saying I have to keep working on them. So now the sand is applied here. You see, I have the complete texture. Of course, once you apply the sand, all these irregularities are softened. So now what we'll do is we play this apart and we wait until the PVA glue we applied is completely dry, and we follow doing the same on the other bases. So again, I will do another one in the camera. So you apply the PVA glue on the base. Okay. I will spread. And this is, I will say, one of the most basic things that we do to base the miniatures, is to use this type of technique. This is the first technique I learned on basing miniatures. So we apply some here. So we have to be careful not to put sand on the horse. Here in that part we have to be careful. And normally you apply first the sand, as you will see later on I will apply the grass. So this is all. Then again, we'll try to make it on camera. We have here the sand. Okay, so I put the horse in. As you can see, now have a lot of sand. I take the excess out by shaking a little bit. Okay, and this is sanded. Okay, now have all applied. I will do the same for all the other horses, and I will be back once the sand is applied in all the horses and is dry and ready to do the next step. So I will keep working on them. Okay. So as you can see now, the sand is completely dry. One thing that I didn't explain before, I use beach sand, and I like a lot because you have different size of so the sand have all different sizes here on the texture. If you use normally modeling sand, have more uniform distribution of the size of the grain. So this is why I like to use a lot beach sand or natural sand. So this is all the different horses with the sand applied. You can see the different. I will not use this time the irregularities to put plants or something like that. It's just to break the uniformity of the base and make the terrain a little bit more realistic. So normally countryside terrain is not flat. So now there are going to be horses for Bretonia, and I want to put some grass. Another thing that I like to explain. Normally I don't like to leave the natural color of the sand, because I think you have to scale up the color. So as when we're painting, we do the shades to scale the color to the right and to exaggerate the shades for the size. So when you put paint the terrain, I also like to paint it to simulate or to scale to put the color at the scale, if that makes sense for you. So the other thing that I will do first is I will clean where the sand is attached to the miniature, as I will use PVA glue, just applying a little bit of force with the modeling tool is enough to remove the sand if you have glued by accident some sand on the horse. So I want to keep the nails of the horse completely clean, and also I just in case I go with my knife and I really clean. If there is another knife, sorry, the modeling tool, you don't need a knife for that, and I remove the excess of sand if there is anything attached to the miniatures. So I review a little bit the miniatures and just review and remove a little bit if it's sand attached. Here I will leave it like it is, and here if I feel that I put too much sand around the feet, you just go with the tool. Sorry, and with a little bit you remove the excess. Okay, so once you are in that stage, the next step, I will apply some grass. I will also paint it. So after that I will prime everything, so this will help to keep the sand in place. So this is why I'm doing now all the application, and then I will prime with white in that case. So to put the grass, I will use electrostatic grass. I have this big bag because I didn't use and then what I will do in that case, as we did before, I take another brush as well. You can use the same that we used before, and I will apply flaps of, first I will apply a little bit of PVA glue in some spots. You apply more or less depending if you want more or less grass in that case. So you can spread it, or you just I don't spread a lot, just a little bit, and then you take the back. Let me turn a little bit the camera, it's going to be easier. Okay, you put it inside and the grass is attached. Later on we will remove, so now we leave it aside and we'll repeat for the different horses. For example, this one I will just keep, I will make just some flops, for example, like that. You can do also like that, and in that case I will not spread that. So you just go okay, and by doing in that way, then you have to be careful that everything is, by doing in that way, you have like these flocks of glass, because I give volume. So all depends how you want to live. So this is okay. So I will do another one just to show in camera. I will do the rest of camera. So this one, for example, that is the ones that are more visible. So you just, in that case, for example, I will do almost a lot of part of the base. So I do all this part and we'll do here at the front. I will put a little bit here. It will help to spread, not too much. Then I go to the back. Let's see if I can show this in camera. Put the horse. Okay, you do like that the glass is falling on the base. You shake it, and the glass is attached. Now you have another one. So I will finalize, and then once this is done, we wait until the PVA glue is completely dry, and we will prime white. I will use a spray in that case because of all this type of rugosity and texture, the spray will work better. So I will keep working on that, and I will be back to after applying the prime. So as I was explaining, I did the priming on white. So this is how the bases look like now after priming in white. We have here the glass part, here and here, and we have the sun in that part. Another base here. You see that, and the other thing that you can do now, and it's because you're going to lose, to be sure that everything is attached, you can try to brush a little bit to take out a little bit the dust and the particles that are not completely attached, just a soft one. Okay, so I did here on the table to show you, but normally I do this on top of the garbage bin. So I will do that and I will be back. So as you see, just with a brush to take out all the excess. I remove the excess of sand, the one that was not well attached, and also on the electrostatic glass. Next thing I will do, I take a big brush. So I will take this one for example, and I will use a dark brown in that case. We can use Reno's Hike. So very watery. I will water it down. So with this brush, I take a lot of water with me, just a little bit, and you will see that you need to take a lot of water, and I will paint on the base. You don't need to apply where you want to paint the glass later on, but be sure that it's better that you go on top of the grass than leaving white spots at that stage. So I recommend to take a big brush. This is why I like to do the bases at the beginning, because this part is quite messy, and then we will do the very bright that is even more messy than this. So I prefer to do this because in case I don't need too much control, and if I dirt a little bit the miniature, I'm not concerned. Of course, if in case that you by any mistake touch the miniature, be sure that you don't put a big drop of paint. You don't put too much paint on a base that can damage the detail of the miniature. So I don't take care. This is why I paint, and here the trick is to dilute a lot, as you can see the paint, to be able to go through all this texturized base. If the paint is not dry, as you see here, so you see that it's been quite fast to put all over. This is glass, so I will wait for later. If you don't wet the paint, it will not flow, so I will show you first that you can see. So I dry my brush. So if the paint is not wet, I take it from here, you will see that it's very difficult. You see, it's very difficult to go into the recesses. You will have this issue. While if I take the brush very wet, like here, and I take the paint, you see that automatically I go in and I cover very easily all the texture. So important here it's almost the texture of a wash, what you need to ensure that you have a good coverage of the base. You can see it's quite fast, and this stage will not require a lot of time. So doing the base is not taking a lot of time. Is more is because you the time that it takes is to dry up all the different layers that you do. But in working time, I don't think it's taking a lot of working time. You see, this is done, and as you can see, I'm doing them on camera. I will do a third one. You see that you can go quite fast. You take a lot, you water a lot, the paint, and you can go quite fast on this one. Okay. And the brown that you want to use is up to you. So in that case, I'm using this one because it's the one that I use for the other parts, for the other miniatures on this army. But you can use any dark brown. I recommend to start with a dark brown. If you go to very sand color, it's better to start, for example, with a brown that is on that tonality. Okay. But in that case, I go for quite dark earthy color. So this is, as you can see, and if you see that the top of the stones look very whitish, don't be concerned, because later on we are going to do dry brush, so this will be covered by the dry brush that you are going to work later. What is important now is that the paint go deep into the texture, and especially between the different sand grains or sand stones to ensure that you have a good coverage with the brown. Okay, so that's I will do the other three bases and I will be back for the next layer. So now that the brown is completely dry, you will see that the coverage is very nice. We have here another example, and at the same time I was doing another base. I decided to do one base to the end to show what is the target. Okay, see here you see, and the glass. So next step they will do, I will take Caliban green. You can work again with a big brush, you don't need the detail one. I can use, for example, this one. This is a wash brush, you can use this one. Took a lot of water, thin with the brush, and put it here. You need to take a lot of water, and when you paint glass, have a lot of surface. You will need quite a lot of paint to have a nice coverage. So just, and it's important that the paint is very liquid, very thin. Sorry, that you use a lot of water to ensure that the paint is covering well over the glass. So, and you can use, I use dirt water to do that. I don't need to do dirt my clean water. Just the dirt water is working well, because the color is so dark that it's not, you don't notice that. So as you see, I wet my brush on the dirt water. I take some of this dark green and I apply it. Okay, you see here is one example. We can take another example here. Take green. This here you don't need to be very, and if you go a little bit on the brown area, sorry, it's not a problem. And this is why I like to do the bases at the beginning, because normally when I paint bases, I use more techniques that are, I call it dirt techniques, or less techniques that require less precision to work. So in case for any mistake I dirt the miniature, I'm not concerned, because I will paint the miniature later on. So this is why I like to start with the bases because it's where you do use the most rough techniques to paint them. You can see it's important that you don't leave anything white. So it's more important, it's better to go a little bit on the brown and not leave anything white visible than leaving white visible. Here that we have small spots of grass, I will just go like that. See, it's, and I don't do strokes. As you see, I'm more touching with the brush on the grass and doing like hitting the grass. So yeah, this is the work, and now we need to wait until this layer is completely dry. We'll need a lot of time to dry because I'm watering a lot the paint. So be patient, and yeah, do this and then paint another miniatures or other things because this will need time to dry. So I will let it dry and I will be back to do the last part on this tutorial. So now you can see that the grass is completely dry. I wait at least, yeah, I will to the day after to keep painting on that. In that case I wait more time because I was painting other things, so I just let the time pass a little bit. So now what I'm going to do, the dry brush on the brown part on the earth, and I will use first scrap brown from Games Workshop. So this one we'll do just a dry brush all over this surface. I will do one base, you can assume, and this is the result I'm looking for. If you want to have a look here. Okay, so the first dry brush, sometimes when you're painting this type of the terrain or the bases, you don't need to be very uniform in applying the dry brush or the different layers. Let randomize a little bit the tonality, the earth, the ground, the sun is not uniform. So this is why I like. And then I will use second layer vestiger flesh. Okay. This is going to be all for the brown part of the base, and then on the green part take a different brush. I will use a different brush for the grass. For the grass I will use a dry brush of mud green. So again, here you can be a little bit more heavy. You can see it's almost okay, and a little bit on the front. Right, here we'll put a little bit more, and that's all. So this will finalize. This is a very basic base. You can paint or not the grass, but this is my way to do a very basic base for these guys. So that's all. This is finalizing the weekly painting of this week. So I hope you find it useful. And next week I will talk about the horses, how to paint horses, and the way I used to paint horses. So thanks a lot for watching. Please leave your comment. Again, if you have anything that you want to know better, or you want to know deeper, or you want to do for me to do a tutorial, please just drop a message, send me a message, drop a message here on the video. I look all the messages. Comment, like if you like it. Please subscribe if you're not subscribing. Thanks a lot for watching. See you later. Bye.